Sometimes the people we love the most are not absent from our lives. They're just standing on the other side of a wall made of years, emotions, and misunderstandings. And no one quite knows how to start taking it down. Sometimes the greatest grief in blended families is not explosive conflict. It's standing close enough to see the possibility of reconciliation while still feeling emotionally worlds apart. It's watching someone you love linger near the edges of the family without fully stepping back into it. Seeing glimpses of softness, glimpses of longing, glimpses of connection, while unresolved hurt still hangs quietly between everyone involved. And for many blended families, that emotional tension becomes exhausting. What happens when love is still there, but trust has become tangled in years of hurt, influence, misunderstanding, resentment, and distance? I think one of the saddest realities about fractured family relationships is that people often become trapped inside the role they were assigned during the conflict. One person becomes the problem. One person becomes the outsider. One becomes the reason everything changed. And eventually, people stop seeing each other as human beings and start reacting to the version of each other they built in their minds. That is especially true in blended families, because blended families are layered. They carry old wounds into new homes. They ask everyone involved to emotionally adapt in ways that are incredibly difficult, even when love exists. And sometimes hurt hardens into identity. Distance begins to feel safer than vulnerability. But reconciliation cannot happen while everyone is still defending themselves against old versions of each other. Healing begins when someone decides to leave the door cracked open anyway. That doesn't mean pretending the pain never happened. It does not mean ignoring hurtful behavior or rewriting history. It simply means deciding that someone's worst moments do not have to become their permanent identity in your life. I think many people fear that forgiveness means weakness, but forgiveness is not permission. Forgiveness is releasing the need to emotionally imprison each other inside old pain forever. Sometimes people say painful things when they're angry, confused, influenced, immature, grieving, or overwhelmed, especially young people still trying to figure out who they are. And while words matter, relationships also deserve room for growth. The hard part is that many fractured families are all waiting for the other person to soften first. One person waits for an apology, another waits for acceptance, another waits to feel safe, another waits for proof they are genuinely wanted. And while everyone waits, years quietly pass. But love rarely survives through pride alone. Sometimes reconciliation starts with something smaller, consistent openness, a willingness to stop interpreting every action through the lens of old hurt, a willingness to believe people can become more than the worst version of themselves, because emotions in families are rarely simple. A person can deeply love their family while still carrying anger toward them. They can miss people while avoiding them. They can want connection while resisting vulnerability. Human emotions are contradictory like that. And maybe part of maturity is learning not to dismiss those contradictions so quickly. Underneath anger, there is often hurt. Underneath avoidance, there is often fear. Underneath bitterness, there is often grief over what someone wished the relationship could have been. That is why reconciliation cannot only be built on being right. It also has to be built on mercy. Mercy says, I know things became painful, but I do not want pain to be the final chapter of this story. It also says you do not have to earn your way back into being loved. And also, the door is still open even if walking through it takes time. Maybe one of the most healing things a family can do is create an environment where people no longer feel like they have to choose between accountability and belonging. Healthy families are not families without mistakes. Healthy families are families where growth is still possible after mistakes. I think many people in fractured relationships are secretly asking the same question. If I come back, will I still be loved here? And sometimes the answer people need most is not pressure, guilt, or perfection. Just reassurance. Reassurance that despite the hurt, despite the years, despite the misunderstandings and emotional distance, they're still wanted, still thought about, still hoped for, and still loved. Because reconciliation is not about pretending the wounds never existed. It's about deciding the relationship is worth more than staying wounded forever. Maybe reconciliation in blended families was never meant to be about who is right or who is wrong, but about who is willing to keep the door open long enough for love to find its way back through.